At Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Finance, we are the future of crypto.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Viber Live. Got a good one for you tonight. Was doing some research earlier today. Watched an interview with the CEO of Centrifuge, which I'd heard about it. You know, it was in the real world asset type category type narrative. So I did some digging into it today. Very interesting project, what they have going, and went down some other rabbit holes. So we're going to talk about some tokenization of asset stuff. You know, some hilarious stuff, people pranking basically these ETFs. People are sending shit coins and Bitcoin to these accounts. So their accounting is going to be all messed up. Like, it's so funny, guys. The stuff that happens in crypto, you cannot make this stuff up. But let's get into these bubbles here. Looking at in the favorites here. Let's get the top 100. I mean, not much going on. I mean, 10%. I mean, we don't get out of bed for 10% gains here. You know, we want X's. And right now, well, I don't know what the hell, technical difficulties tonight. But yeah, guys, I mean, I think we need to see Bitcoin dominance come down. There's either two things that are going to happen. You know, Bitcoin, we get its last little wind and we pump up and we break 42.5, make, you know, and hopefully can keep crawling. If we can't get past like that 48.5, that was it. That was the local top for this this part of the cycle, and it's going to be pushing down to the mid 30s. But if that does happen, where this is going to get extended, if Bitcoin can kind of trend sideways and just hold around 40K and ETH can start to move, then we get Bitcoin dominance falling down. We'll have a massive alt season. So I think just chopping sideways is max pain. And that's a lot. I kind of don't want to see that, but my gut tells me that's what's coming. These markets always tend to do that to us. It's never just smooth sailing, easy gains, but that's all right. That's what makes you a savage. So, well, quick reminder, guys. I know everyone in the Discords, we got our bets in for tomorrow's fight. I think there's like 24 more hours to bet on it. Event 1 for the kickback. Rick Ross is hosting this party, and I wish I was able to go, but you know, it is what it is. I'll be watching it, and we bet on it. I don't know why I can't pull it up right now, but it's on the phone app. But this is free coins, guys. This coin has gone up 6x-ish since we started talking about over the summer. These live events are what's going to make this coin Karate Combat as big as the UFC. I'm telling you, there's something special here. It's got all that making, and you can watch a fight tomorrow night. They're like qualifiers and stuff for the next big event coming up in Dominican Republic. So it's just growing and growing. They got Rick Ross representing for us. We saw him live in Vegas at one of the HEX meetups. So our boy Ricky Rose, he knows what's up. So looking at the PRC 20s here, shout out to Goo God. Look at Alien, just crushing new all-time highs. And one thing, guys, I want to really stress is when you're looking at this charts on Dex Screener, go switch it from USD over to Wrap Pulse, because that shows you, I think, the real chart. So if, you know, in the USD, obviously we made a new all-time high, right? This is great. We just broke out of into hopefully price discovery here from the last top at like 31.50, but then you look at it in Pulse and you say, oh shit, we can still go up another almost 60% before we get to the previous high against Pulse. So this is how I've been doing my ratio trading. You know, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I moved a bunch of Pulse X into Pulse. And it's the same thing. You know, you get this chart, the PulseX chart, just go to the daily and then zoom out and you look at it in USD, but then look at it against Pulse. And it's a different chart. And on the daily, you could see it's starting to really break down. So I got in down here at like 3.8-ish, and I should have sold it up around 2.5, or no, was this like 2.2? But now it's at like 2.7. So that's almost a full point from 3.7 to 2.7 on that ratio. And I think I did 30 million Pulse, and I got, I don't know, 115 and PulseX, and now I can swap back and profit about 30 million just swapping back and forth between Pulse and PulseX. So, you know, when I'm looking now at Alien making its new all-time high, people have been asking me, yo, it's time to take profits. Should we sell right now? Is it going to dump? No, it's not going to dump, I don't think, right now. Looking at it against Pulse, you could see we still have a way to go. So once we get up to about 5,005, that's when I'll say, all right, you know, maybe we're topping out right here. And PTGC, you know, same thing. This thing has 100x for us, guys. We called this so early. And look at this. It's against Pulse. It's topped out. So I today, you know, nothing against PTGC, but I swapped a little bit into Alien because I just think there's a little bit more room to run on that side of it. So it's going to get exciting, guys. And there's so many coins. You know, I was talking to Facing Reality today. Poor Pleb, another one. He was like, dude, I'm up 5x on it from the bottom, and I've been sleeping on Poor Pleb. I totally forgot it was even existent. And look at this, guys. We have a 5x to go to the previous all-time high. So this thing's got room to go. And then the last one, shout out to Rags. You know, he's been crushing it, doing a lot of work with Texan, 400,000 strong in the Texas nationalist movement. Just wait until 25% of them get put in front of crypto, 15% of them. I mean, it's coming, guys. There's crazy shit happening down there on the border, and this is going to unify people in Texas. It's going to bring eyes on the state, and what a perfect time for this movement and Texan to come and drop. And man, against Pulse, guys, I told you guys about a week ago, same thing. Moved some Pulse into Texan. It's at the bottom of this range, and this is the easiest thing to do. Like in the Discords, I always get the same questions: when do I buy? When do I sell? And a way to simplify that is just take these coins and stop looking at them in dollars. Just go to the chart against Pulse, and once they get to their previous resistance points, that's when they typically tend to struggle. And, you know, this one last run up here, we broke through and it moved up, 10% higher. So if we, in another month, 2 months, break up past 0.16, you know, maybe look at 0.2 as the local top there. But yeah, guys, so much excitement going on in this ecosystem. We're so early, and it just pissed me off when I saw that interview with Crypto 7 and Ivan. And Ivan's asking him, like, guys, I don't know shit about Pulsechain. You guys are the experts. You're the ones streaming about it. Tell me what's going on. Tell me the good stuff. And they didn't even talk to him about PDI, Atropa, all the new way of DeFi 2.0 that's evolving here on Pulsechain, with all these RBots and PTGC and all the different liquidity pairs that have burnt and locked liquidity so they can't just be rugged. And when you see that liquidity start building, it starts creating price floors, and you start having these coins where you don't need any human buys or sells to keep the prices moving up. I had Coach on stream, and he walked us through exactly that, showing us multiple pairs where every single transaction was a bot. And these are the things that are unique to Pulsechain. You know, Richard Hart created, not Richard Hart, but Hex and Richard together, that created the DeFi summer in 2020. And it's like, dude, what about the DeFi summer 2.0 that could potentially be coming this summer once people see the things that are happening over here? And it's awesome, guys. Jake Sharp, hopefully he launches TitanX on Pulsechain. Let's check the volume on Pulse. We were over 100 million, and that was kind of the threshold. Jake said once we we hit 100 million in volume for a couple weeks, and yeah, wow, holy shit, down to 26 million. So we dropped off a cliff, but that's all right, guys. The writing is on the wall. We saw how fast Godwale's tweet, Godwale bridging stuff in some of the SAC wallets, a couple percent of that maybe being used to buy up some PulseX and HEX, and that's how fast we went from fighting around the community to starting to pump and green candles and just happiness. So it's exciting, guys. And I wanted to show you this. I worked so hard doing this research, looking up all these utility gems here every day, being shadow banned. We're not even allowed to be monetized. Like, they do everything to shadow ban the shit out of this channel. And then you got clowns like this right here. Like, I just want to play this clip for you guys. It's really funny what he does here. Halfway in, he shits on BitBoy, and then watch what he does. Fuck, is it muted, Bobby? God damn it, man. I don't know why. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on a second. Let me see if I can swap this out. Man. Every time. Every fucking time. I deserve to be shadow banned. You know what? Fuck it. All right, I'm going to try this one more time.
Also, I mean, if you look at
you hear it now? It's still on mute.
This is the trend line that Bitcoin dominance is on. Bitcoin dominance is actually going to go. So let's say that not everybody agrees that it's altcoins. I think it's altcoins. The Irishman thinks it's altcoins. The scarecrows don't.
It's just probably still, I don't know. Is it still on mute, guys? If it is, whatever, I'll just tell you what happened.
Let's look at the altcoins.
You're good. All right, here we go.
Except for a couple of them. So Helium, we're going to talk about Helium as the next. Tau, Bitcoin. I'm very confused about what Tau is, because I thought like Tau was just like amazing infrastructure for AI projects. I really did. Like, I've been buying a lot of Tau because I've thought that it's like this amazing AI infrastructure project with like this like proof of work type structure that really, really, really works. But then yesterday, when I was watching BitBoy Ben's show, he says that Tau is actually a NFT project on Solana. That's what he said. I kid you not. Listen.
Great pick. BitTensor, Solana NFT launching platform, or NFT.
So all this time, I've been buying BitTensor, thinking that I'm buying an AI infrastructure project, which has an amazing, very similar to Bitcoin proof of work type mechanism. And then BitBoy, Ben, says that it's actually a launchpad for NFTs on Solana. Careful where you get your information from. And that's all I'm saying.
Careful where you get your information from. Throwing a huge dig at BitBoy right there. And then 10 seconds later, watch this.
Let's go into altcoins today. So not a great day for altcoins. Tar up, IOTA up, OKB up. The rest of them pretty red.
Right here.
Hot narrative today. By the way, you've seen this button. So what went up today? AI is up 1.66%. I guarantee that's because of Tau. So you see Tau. Oh, and Ethereum also up. Is Ethereum up 50% today? Holy shit, Ethereum's up 50% today.
Holy shit, Ethereum's up 50% today. Hey, asshole, that's Aleph. That's not Ethereum. That's Aleph. We bought this coin in 2020. Facing Reality in this chat still owns it from 4 years ago when we bought that shit. So he just said he has a huge bag of Ethereum.
Very, very, very good project.
So he's holders of Ethereum and he doesn't even know the fucking ticker. He's confusing it with Aleph. So he just shit on BitBoy for not knowing what Tau was, and then literally 10 seconds later gets all excited. Holy shit. Ethereum's no. Ethereum's not up 50%. If you take the E out of there, ALPH, that'd be Ethereum there, bro. So Mr. Guru Ran, the fucking dumbass here, shits on BitBoy and literally within 20 seconds does the same exact thing. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up, guys, but it is what it is. Let them get all the clout. Let them get all the shine. I'd rather have smart, awesome guys that are here every night that can see through the nonsense, that can see through the bullshit, and we're going to be the ones on top when it comes time. Everyone I hear about is scared about CBDCs, right? Oh, they're coming. They're going to take over. Well, I've been seeing in China, they were an epic failure. They couldn't even get people to use them there. Nigeria, they already gave up, and now they're looking pretty much at ways to bribe people to get them to use CBDCs. And now they're going to have to integrate other things. And now all of a sudden, the Bank of England says the UK isn't ready for a digital pound yet. Why? Because 50,000 people finally stood up. 50,000 members of the British public, businesses, and society gave responses to the consultation. The concerns about going full steam ahead with such a technology relate to privacy concerns. The digital pound would be private, but not anonymous, unlike cash. So there you go, guys. Like, you can't push this shit on everyday people. It works on some people, but it won't work on the masses. You know, this whole ESG thing, I don't see how you're going to push it on the masses. People just say, screw you. Like, you have a hard time really enforcing that stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be fines and whatnot, but I'm going to really be shocked if all this goes through. So this is now Great Britain is going to struggle with this. And it's going to be the same thing in the United States. Trump, just like what you said, John, Trump is against it. He's running against anti-CBDCs. It's going to be a talk. I think they're putting these articles out so it becomes a talking point in the next election. It gets politicized and it gets talked about in the mainstream. That's the only thing I can think of. Just as kind of a big distraction when they know all along it's going to be for stimulus, for Medicaid, Medicare, stuff where there's rampant fraud. You know, when people in Section 8 housing are supposed to be getting money for food and rent and other things, and they're buying jewelry and rims, like, you can't have that. You need to have that money being spent on what it's supposed to be spent for. That's that's much different than cash or money you went out and worked for. Shit, that's a handout from the government. I don't mind seeing this stuff. Like, you know, if you can't spend it where it's supposed to be spent, whatever. It is what it is. But so yeah, guys, switching a little bit over here to them. This is where it gets good tonight. MakerDAO here is now expanding their non-crypto asset portfolio with Block Tower and Centrifuge. And I'd heard of Centrifuge, the project, never really looked into it that much. But Block Tower here, I mean, this was in December 9th. So I'm assuming this vote passed. I didn't go and look on Maker. But what they're doing is all these different companies are signing deals with different players in the industry. And Block Tower is one of these companies. I looked at a handful of them today, and they all are basically doing the same thing, trying to figure out a way to blend TradFi with blockchain and crypto through real world assets, through tokenization, all these different ways right here. And so these guys have their credit, investing in real world assets, asset-backed securities, fintech originators. You know, they have their active trading directional exposure focused on liquid crypto assets via a multi-strategy approach. But my point here is there were 20 of these companies. So I was on Centrifuge's website, and this is a good solid play, guys. Like, for a real world asset play, I wouldn't mind, you know, adding this to the portfolio. The market cap was just a little high for me. I like stuff that's smaller, like the Polytrades, the Relios, the Velos, Strongholds. I like those that are $50-60 million market caps, not over 200. But these guys are working with RWA.xyz. And that kind of caught my attention because that's the site that I've been using to show you guys the assets that are tokenized right now. You know, with the treasuries and the stuff on the private credit on the blockchains, how they're mostly on Stellar and ETH right here. And the private credit, you know, that's all over these different blockchains. Centrifuge leads the way, Goldfinch, Maple, Clearpool, TrueFi, Homecoin. So it's starting to spread out all over the place. But when I was looking at Block Tower, you know, there was a whole list of these pools that Centrifuge is offering. And this is the newest website, but I was on an old one from last year, one of their partners, and they had about 10 different funds in there. They all had Twitter pages, and they were all failed dead projects. So just because there's somebody that's got a fancy name that's working with this partner doesn't mean they're going to succeed. You know, there's going to be so many different companies trying to break into this industry any way they can, using any keyword, any fancy phrase, any gimmick they can try to sneak in. We saw it last cycle with NFTs, with metaverse, with gaming, some of these cheesy ass launch pads that anything to do with a game was making money. As long as you had a freaking 30-second commercial that showed you were potentially making a game, you could make money on it. And I think it's kind of the same rush over here. These are all open pools, and I closed the website out of the dead one, but just seeing that these guys are already tokenizing hundreds of millions of dollars using Aave as one of their partners, and then Centrifuge and Tin Lake, that's who it was. But I was on Tin Lake's website earlier, and they were the one that had all of the failed old projects. But now, they're back on Centrifuge's website. And these companies like Block Tower, guys, a lot of them are going to fail just because they come here and they look fancy and they have partnerships and they get some press. It doesn't mean shit. At the end of the day, how this stuff's going to work, it's all who you know. It's all the relationships. Your network is your net worth. And a lot of these projects are not going to have the they're not going to have the connections, and they're going to eventually phase away. These VC funds will fund 25 of these projects, and then the 2 that make it will make up for all that money they invested. So they don't care. They know some of these are going to fail and not make it. And Maker and Dai and Aave, all these companies are working together. Centrifuge Credit Group, RWA, Block Tower, Aave, Circle. It's one big mafia, I would almost call it. And we talked earlier in the last year about how Maker was bringing so many tokenized T-bills and bonds to their blockchain. It seemed like they were backing their entire stablecoin with these not worthless, US bonds, but I mean, not stuff that you want to hold. And now, since the interest rates are above 5% and yields falling on the DAI, they've had to replenish the peg, and they've had to do that by injecting liquidity. Daily liquidity has been consistently short over the past 2 months. The reason we're decreasing T-bill exposure to replenish the peg, and the reason it's shrinking is because we're in a bull market, allegedly. As you can see, the crypto bank loans are going up a lot because people want to be speculating. And every time someone takes a loan from MakerDAO to get leverage, it decreases that PSM. So if I don't want to say this is a Luna 2.0, but they're going to change the way they back their coins. I think they're going to end up backing all these stable coins with real world assets and not just bonds that are so volatile. When you can go from 6 months to having 80% of your backing in these bills to 6 months later, because rates are dropping like crazy, you now are having problems with your liquidity. And that's how volatile these things are. And, it's interesting that in some of these articles, they talk about how important these decentralized stablecoins are. And this tokenized asset coalition aims to drive more than 1 trillion in assets on chain. So this coalition here was originally founded by it was 6 or 7 of the biggest companies right here. Sorry. The TAC was formed in the fall of last year with Aave, Base, Centrifuge, Circle, Coinbase, Credix, Goldfinch, and RWA.xyz. This year's report provides a range of insights into the state of real-world assets and tokenization, innovation happening to business models, products, the emergence of institutional investors, all the stuff that we've been talking about. Our goal was to bring together a diverse group of key players, yada, yada, yada. But the new members include Ava Labs, Backed, Chainlink, Fireblocks, Keyrock, Maple, Ondo, Polygon, Parify, Provenance Blockchain. That's interesting. They're one of the private blockchains that these banks are using, along with Onyx, but they're not on here. Republic, Securitize, Solana, and Stakehouse. So these guys are going to work together to bring industry leaders together, grow the industry, all that good stuff. But what was crazy is they have this report that they put out. So I signed up for it. I downloaded it. And very interesting, guys. 24 pages. I started reading it. I got 42 pages. I got halfway through. And they talk about like the different kinds of algorithmic stable coins, the challenges with them, what happened with the crashes, the collapses of Voyager, Celsius, Three Arrows, how that kind of rocked the industry and set everything back. But then they start coming down into how real world assets are going to start changing everything. And there was a part in here that I'm going to read, guys, that really blew my mind. So they have their different experts, right, from the different projects. So from Avara, they had Steve and Kenny here talking about a decentralized, over-collateralized stablecoin, GHO. It's a new stablecoin that they have that keeps more collateralization, so it always stays at peg. There's always more liquidity there. There's another guy here talking about asset-linked stable coins from Next Level Advisors. Another guy pitched in talking about tokenized treasuries right here from Maple Finance, the unexpended heroes of decentralized finance. So he talks about this. But the next part, guys, this is what blew my mind. Expert perspective number 4, letting Degens play in private credit. Johnny Reinish, my man, this guy's a legend. So Degens are a critical part of the crypto ecosystem. They iterate quickly, poke holes, battle test protocols, and also make the mundane super fun. Drawing inspiration from the Degen playbook, I propose a direction for the near-term evolution of tokenized private credit during its infancy. Historically, private credit deals from leading managers offer the best risk-adjusted returns. It seems natural to only marry these high-quality assets with efficiency gains tokenization affords. Yet, according to RWA, the total value of tokenized credit assets on chain was 500 million. Even when considering a few billion worth of deals, we're merely scratching the surface to the estimated 1.7 trillion in private credit assets. Also, a tiny drop in the bucket compared to the global crypto market cap of 1.6 trillion. We've witnessed significant strides in protocols that reduce origination costs, as well as structuring deals. Marketing debt is accessible to emerging markets with like Goldfish, CredX. JP Morgan's Onyx has also demonstrated vast efficiency gains in collateral settlement. So there it is. They didn't put it in that main article out there, but they threw Onyx into the 45-page report there because we know Onyx is going to be a part of this regardless until they move everything over to open source public blockchains like Stellar and the XRP ledger and, maybe Centrifuge, stuff like that. But for now, when stuff's on ETH and Solana, that's not the future. So this is where it was great. Degens are the workhorses of crypto experimentation and innovation. They are not mere investors. They are pioneers of a new financial frontier, employing complex strategies for yield maximization. So guys, this is in the report from a committee from Aave, Chainlink, all these guys. And the shit that I was reading last year from Bank of America and JP Morgan, all these guys, is that they're institutional investors and the rich folks wanted nothing to do with this stuff. It was so risky. Interest has been declining, yada, yada, yada. Well, this is telling a different story here. They keep crypto relevant and entertaining during bear markets and are the tip of the spear for testing out new projects. Consider, for instance, granting a trader position in a private credit RWA they can lever up. They could increase the absolute return on the base RWA position by repeatedly reinvesting loan proceeds or pursue something even more speculative, maximizing absolute returns based on a yield farming strategy. Seeing their behavior, watching what breaks, what they exploit would be an absolute trove of information. Let's get even more imaginative and allow meme coin enthusiasts to gamify this strategy. Picture a meme coin named Sharp, an L2 based token with no value. airdrop to wallet holders of predominant RWA protocols monthly. The Sharp leaderboard would track the best returning wallet strategies for positions underpinned by private credit RWAs. Each airdrop would spark a flurry of cross-platform engagement, where discussions on maximizing leverage, reducing fees, and evolving algorithmic trading strategies flourish. Sharp becomes the trophy case for Degens transitioning from speculation to risk-adjusted multi-asset trading strategies. I bet the broader cryptoverse of Degens would come up with even more interesting things. Throw RWAs into the sandbox, let the Degens play, and see what castles they create. While catering to Degens is crucial, we must not overlook the imperatives of strict compliance and maintain high asset quality and scale. To attract institutional grade issuers, the on-chain experience must be fully compliant. We know all that. It's going to be yada, yada, yada. I love balancing investment opportunity, innovative experimentation, and Degen-like fun can sustain on-chain private credit during its infancy. Whether through meme coins or enabling audacious yield farming strategies, we can make on-chain private credit more engaging than its real-world counterpart without sacrificing regulatory compliance. Ultimately, my bet is the Degens would discover the strategies supporting the next leg of adoption. There you go, guys. They want to let us in. They know it. And when I watch interviews with Franklin Templeton and Jenny Johnson and Danelle Dixon, and they're talking about how the future is only in open source public blockchains where people can build on, exchange ideas, and grow it. That's where the future is, not in Provenance, not in Onyx. And I think Stellar is one of those plays. I think the XRP Ledger is one of those plays. And then I'm just so bullish on stuff like Casper and Quant and XDC. There's so many cryptos out there. Hedera. There's handfuls of them. The whole tokenization of asset category with Clearpool and Jasmy. With Bank Social that just came out. There's so many fascinating projects. And now that I see this, it's like, guys, this could be setting up for like the biggest bull run ever. I mean, if they're encouraging Degens to come into this and let them in to private equity, guys, that would be amazing. Let the Degens in. Let them play in private credit. And that's what I'm seeing, guys. I'm seeing we are now going to be able to come in to Centrifuge's website here. And when you connect, look, you have multiple networks. But guess what, guys? MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, and Wallet Connect. The same things that we use to mess around with HEX and Pulsechain on Optimism, whatever we're using. What do you know? You can connect with MetaMask to all these different things. So when I hear like, oh, they're not going to be interoperable with us, they're not going to, we're not going to be able to use this stuff, they're going to wall off. No, it's not going to be like that. The value, and they see it, is in open source public blockchains. The problem now is anonymity. Like you can't. So I was watching a stream earlier with Maximus, shout out Max, talking about Casper Labs. And they just had IBM. They were minting these brand new NFTs that are on the quant standard on Casper's blockchain, but that's a problem. Like we shouldn't be able to see that. IBM is doing this stuff. It should be anonymous. Like when we spend our a credit card transaction, you see all like star, the last 4 digits. So you don't know who it is. That's how these need to be, I think, until for mass adoption. I don't see that practical where someone's testing something or using a blockchain. They have an NDA on. They don't want anyone to know they're using it. And then some asshole like me comes on and is just stalking the blockchain, and I'm able to connect wallets and blow up their spot on some stuff that is, in testnet or it shouldn't be public. That's the only problem with it, but it's coming. Hedera's fixing that with their decentralized IDs, decentralized recovery, institutional DeFi. It's coming this year, guys, in like Q2, Q3. Alliance Block and Nexera, they were partners. Alliance Block was in one of these partnerships in here with Centrifuge, I believe. and with Dua and Brilliant, with those wallets that they're building, where you can take your wallet and send Ethereum in there, you can send NFTs in there, and then you're going to be able to hold your real world assets in there. And like, that's real world assets are like your insurance policy, mortgage, savings bond, a T-bill, stocks. We're going to hold all that stuff in one wallet. It's going to be a all-in-one, one-stop shop, I think, is where we're inevitably going with this stuff. But guys, I'm so bullish. Like, I've been using this site for so long, RWA.xyz, and I didn't even realize the ties that they have through Centrifuge and through all the biggest companies out here that are working on this project. The 15 of them that are helping build this thing. Sorry, where are they? Right here. The newest ones with Chainlink, Solana, Stakehouse, Polygon, Provenance, AVA, Fireblocks. Like, these aren't chumps. And they already have Coinbase, Circle, Base, Aave. I mean, guys, I'm seeing the writing on the wall. There's going to be a lot of these different companies that start popping up, especially with the ICO phases and gaming and these launch pads. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a real world asset narrative push where there's like these scammy launch pads that are allegedly launching these great real world asset plays that just end up being complete nightmares. I looked through a bunch of these projects on Centrifuge. That was Block Tower. They also have REIF Pool. And you can come down and you can see what they are. REF Financial Investments, founded in 2021, will loan capital secured by real estate to finance commercial and construction projects. Like, this one could do well. It could flop. These websites look great. When you look at them, they look like, oh yeah, this could be really big. But when you go and look on chain and some of these things have $5,000 in the pools, that's a problem. That's not going to do much. Like, this gig economy pool is closed with 5,000 DAI in it. That's a problem. But when you see other ones with 10, 20, 30, 90 million and, a couple million, they're still open. This liquid treasury fund. And this is cool, guys. Like, this is what we're going to be doing with our crypto in a couple of years with our profits. We're going to turn it to stable coins or, buy some kind of real world assets with ETH or USDC. I'm going to want to lock it up if I can get, 8-9% without taking any risk. Why not? Right here, 8% with the real estate bridge loan. Why not? 10% with this Branch Series 3. Branch Financial is a company that lends money to consumers using machine learning algorithms to determine credit worthiness via customer smartphones. But guys, this shit's crazy. Like, this is the future. This is where it's all going. And finding these companies, some of them are going to do phenomenal. Some are all going to fail. And you guys know all the ones that I love, all the projects that I really am bullish on. And the last thing for the night was right here. Elon, obviously X payments, but how does this relate to the partnership between SpaceX and Vast? Jeb McCaleb is a co-founder of Ripple and co-founder of Stellar. And now his Vast and SpaceX are partnering. So, sure, they're talking back and forth. I don't know. Could we see XRP or XLM be integrated into X.com with SpaceX? Or is he going to use Dogecoin for X and SpaceX and Starlink? I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be XLM or XRP, but time will tell. There's some crazy rabbit holes to go on, but we're so bullish on Stellar, Velo, Rilio, Stronghold, the gems over there. I'm going to be holding them this whole cycle. And I'm going to be watching when they put this real estate and stable coins, they add it to this website. We can look at private credit and the U.S. treasuries, and we know where they are on Stellar, on ETH, little on Solana, little on Polygon. But guys, the future's on Stellar. The future's in these open source, fast public blockchains that are cheap. I really think so. Hedera's even tokenizing a lot of real estate with like Aberdeen and what's the other company there? Red Swan Real Estate or Red Swan Capital, something like that. But the partnerships are being made, guys. NDAs are out right now, but they're going to start expiring. They're not going to last forever, and we're going to be crushing it. Once we can start to see more than breadcrumbs. I think Davos was a big start to planting the seeds of real world assets, of tokenization, of who the main players are. You're starting to see Ripple and Hedera and Algorand now on stage with each other, all working together. And that's what I want to see. The biggest projects all working together and actually changing the world. And I want to see utility actually make a difference. You know, I watched an interview with the Centrifuge CEO today, and he was just talking about Aave and how they have a couple $100 million on that chain and they have credit over there. And he just sees like the friction that's in TradFi right now. And basically, you know, DeFi on Aave and on Pulsechain's liquid loans, it's basically like the repo markets in TradFi. They're very, very similar. But how do we, you know, reduce the friction that's in TradFi when you're going and just getting chopped up by fees all along the process? You know, that's eliminated by the blockchain and by crypto and DeFi, but that also eliminates a lot of jobs and eliminates power and people in place. So it's going to be a slow migration over to this technology, but once it's here, it's going to evolve so fast because of AI. That's when it's really going to start cranking. But I think really Q2, Q3 this year, potentially. But again, everything gets delayed. You know, the ISO stuff was supposed to be live last year. We were supposed to have our Fed Now wallets January 1st, 2022. Still not there yet. So this stuff takes time. Software takes time. And they don't want to make the wrong decisions. These are very important decisions being made. And they're not going to just rush out these CBDCs that encroach on everyone's private, that make people burn down the government. That's not what they want. Not everyone's demonic. Not everyone's evil. There's just people that are in places and they don't see the bigger picture. They don't understand how they're being played. They don't understand how they're being used and puppeted. But that's all right. You know, the system needs to stay intact. It needs to survive. You know, all these anarcho-capitalists that want to burn it all down. It's like, what's going to replace it? You know, look at California run by gangs. Look at Mexico run by gangs. Do you want that? You need a stable system to keep the herd in check. And you got to, you know, be careful what you wish for. You better have a better solution if you're trying to tear shit down and be that guy. And that's not me. We're trying to build Texaco, and it's going to happen, guys. Like, I want a place where I look down and look to my left and to my right, and I see families of Hexicans, Pulsicans, and kids outside playing. No one's brainwashed. None of the gender shit even comes over there. It doesn't even exist. And like, we have our own supply chains, our own thing. You know, we don't need to take back anything. We need to just build our own stuff. If I went out and bought 1,000 acres tomorrow and gifted 50 acres to 50 people, or no, bought 10,000 acres and gifted 50 acres to 50 families that deserve it and earned it, and I took a sacrifice, you know, bought a big property and just gave it away and let people build on there. So we built community first and built a moral, loyal, strong community. That's what can't be torn down. And when you have that, that's the real power. And that's talking about that shit is why we ain't getting monetized. Like, I know people that got banned from TikTok for putting up organic farming videos. So anything that is out here to help you, to not harm you, to not make you crazy, to hate your government, like, that's the stuff that's pushed. You know, they want you just so distracted from reality, so far removed from where we should be as humans, that I think there's a small window we have to front run what's coming if you don't have the money to escape it. And I'm just super fortunate that we're able to see this, hopefully front run it with the best cryptos. And if the last couple months have been a sign of what's to come, man, guys, it's going to be a unbelievable cycle. I mean, PTGC over 100x. I mean, Alien, up 50 something x right now. Creo did a 45x. I mean, shit, I can't even. All the H-bar gems, Dovu, Centex, Karate, Galaxy, Sauce Inu, Saucerswap. Like, guys, these are all gems, but no one talks about them in the mainstream because it's not fun. It's like, yeah, this is a great coin to buy now and then just tuck it away because it's going to explode in 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years. We don't know when, but when that utility is going to matter, people are going to get left behind. So why not go out there now and start stacking these bags for the future? So you can pack a bag, forget it, on to the next. Pack a bag, forget it, on to the next. And once you start having these utility coins, these utility gems, along with your core portfolio, your core gems, and then your Degens spec plays, you have that, you'll be ready to crush it this cycle. And man, guys, if this is like the last couple months, I really think have been foreshadowing of what's to come. We've been spot on. We've nailed so much so early, and people will start to see, the receipts are all there, and it's just a matter of time, guys. So don't get fudded out of your bags right now. Like, this is the last little shakeout, whether it's the next month or so, right before the halving, whether we get a little pump now and then that little post-halving shakeout, it's coming regardless, unless we have that just crazy run in 2024, the bull runs over by Christmas this year, and people are wondering what the hell happened. Anything's possible. Don't rule anything out. And like Rand Nooner says, guys, be careful where you get your information from. He thought he was buying Tau, an AI coin, and, he listened to BitBoy, who told him it was a Solana DEX. And then 5 seconds later, a huge bag of a lithium he owns, he looks at Aleph.im, a completely different coin, and starts freaking out because it's up 50%. And that asshole doesn't even know tickers of coins he owns. And he's out here trying to get 1 million followers. That's his goal or something he was saying. It's like the delusion, the egos, and just like the insanity of some of these guys out here. It really is funny, but we're going to do our own thing. We're going to fucking crush it. And if we get shilled to the front of the algorithms or banished to the back, it ain't going to stop us. It's quantity over quality. I know that's true. And I guarantee you in our little community here, there's more loyal followers that would do more for each other and help their fellow friends out than the 600,000 followers that guy's got. They're, so it really is true, guys. And that's all I got. I'm just rambling now. I got to get out of here. I'm tired. It's been a long day, but back to the grind tomorrow. So smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, or don't. I don't give a shit. It's on you. I'm just here to try to show you at my thousands of hours of research, the shit that catches my attention, the shit that just, the dots connect and you just know. So hopefully you guys can start seeing that, putting the dots together for yourselves and making a portfolio, creating a portfolio, reshuffling your portfolio into the better coins that are going to be here long term. That's what I think That's what I think matters. And I think it's easier to sleep at night knowing it's just a matter of time versus having to check charts every day and wondering, is my coin going to dump? Is it a rug pull? Yada, yada, yada. So peace, guys. See you tomorrow.